Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to another Saturday night, well, Sunday night hangout. I'm your host, Ron. I'm here also with, as always. Oops, I forgot I had the audio on there.
Yeah, getting
So
a
I
bit of an
have with
echo
me,
there.
yeah, so we also
Yeah.
have Daniel here.
Hey guys.
So I'm just going to kill that audio so we don't have that audio overlapping us. And yeah, everything's working. So we're waiting on, apparently, Jacob's not able to join us until later tonight. So I do apologize that Jacob's not here. But we got some stuff to talk about. We got some interesting stuff, actually. So, Daniel, I heard you got your T-Bot finally up and running. Is that correct?
That's right. Um, not exactly a T-bot, of course, but yes, it is up and running, um, which I am totally thrilled about. So I might even
Yeah.
pick up the webcam and show you in a little bit. But right now I'm still working on tuning some settings.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now I am. Well, yesterday and today I've been writing, um, or rather configuring Marlin 1.1.9. So the latest release and the last release in the one dot, X branch of Marlin before all development is moved to 2.0. And it's got a whole bunch of cool new features like a nifty little new version of Linear Advanced that's supposed to use a little less CPU. And I personally like the way it's expressed and coded more. Um, and a new junction deviation feature and a new Bezier curve
Yeah, doesn't it
control
also have
algorithm.
like a new, like new jerk and new motion settings, including
Yep.
also the Creality's reset switch also has been put into it, like the auto stop, resume.
Oh yeah, yeah. Auto resume is one of the new features that they've been working on. They even put that in the development notes, like auto resume, um, or sorry, power loss resume, as taken from work developed by Creality. I forget the actual wording, but that's pretty close.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to being able to use it.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice.
Sorry about that, everybody. Like, I can hear that's almost half frozen, so it's doing its weird. You crack it open, fizzes up, and water goes everywhere type of situation. Gotta hate when they do that. It wasn't frozen when I pulled it out of the fridge, but it seems to be. In case you're wondering why I was slurping and everything else. Let's see here. I actually pulled the video last night from our interview, and I don't from our show last on that night that I kind of pulled the video off of that showed
Oh
your
yeah.
printing. I don't have it anymore for some strange reason. I pulled it off the computer last night, off the
Hmm.
internet. That's not good. I'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Do you think it's still out there somewhere and you can get it back?
Well, it was in the downloads. I told it to download last night. It did download. I know that much. I'll find it. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully I have it here. If not, then we'll just make this its main voyage. But yeah, no, it was interesting watching that. Watching getting the system finally up and running and getting that to all produce it, getting a print out of it. That was great.
Yeah,
Except for
that was
that
fun.
tanglement, but that was about it.
Yeah, got that fixed. Got a spool holder mounted on it today, so might have it printing
Ooh,
while we're streaming.
nice. I wish I could print right now.
Yeah, same. And this is my only printer working, so
Yeah. Though,
all of the other ones are
so
in
once you get that
shambles.
one working, then you're going to start working on the other ones to get them printing, right?
That's right.
How many printers do you have that are out of commission right now? 5 you were saying last
Uh,
time we talked?
yeah, 4 or 5, something like that.
Okay. Well, we got Rover in the house. So, Rover, how's it going, man?
Hey,
Yeah, and we got a few other people watching. From what I can see, stream is showing 2 people. So thank you all for coming in. And like we said, right now Daniel's got a little bit of a issue he has to take care of first before he'll be able to join. Well, sorry, Jacob has a little bit of a. It's gonna be one of those days. Sorry. So waiting on Jacob right now. He has progress that he has to take care of. So as soon as he's free, he's going to come back, and we'll be able to get into that talk about it, about printers and design and everything else. So my printing dates have been. So as you guys know, my CR10 is now in the other room in the state of disrepair right now. I actually pulled out the hot end. I have the Bowden tube there, and I just have the whole print head part all disassembled because I'm in the middle of doing some maintenance and getting the head put back on. One thing I did notice, though, and maybe you can answer this for me, Daniel. How in the heck am I supposed to add this new head? So I picked up the V6 head to put on the CR10.
1 second.
Is that your printer running?
Yep, I'm doing an extrusion test right now.
Okay.
Trying to see how the new PID settings hold up. Ooh, very stable. Staying within about a half a degree. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay.
How would you attach this head to a area where the screws go in right here, but there is no holes for it? Would I need to print a piece from
some printed adapters on Thingiverse? I made something a little bit like this a while ago as I was trying to figure out a groove mount. Let me grab that and hold that up to the camera.
Okay. Not sure how long you need me to hold that. Hey, John, thanks for coming in. Showing you we got 4 viewers, so 3 viewers now. If you're on the channel, don't be afraid to say hi if you can. If you can't, we understand. So there's the head again. I mean, the heat.
Well, here's an example of a printed adapter I did while working on one of my printers. So this is essentially half of a groove mount.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's 2 volts. And it fits around the groove mount just like so.
Ah.
Usually there would be 2 halves, one on the back, one on the front, and I'm pretty sure there are printed adapters on like Thingiverse, so that you can just take your existing bolt holes and 2 clamps.
Yeah.
And plug the new hot end in.
Okay, that'll work then. Yeah, I'm not even sure how I'm gonna put. Once I get this all together, it'll probably all come together as I build it. But it's gonna be a little bit of a, trial and error, and once I get it on, it should have worked perfectly. Yeah, because this comes with everything. This is a full real V6. So right now, like I said, we're just discussing certain things and changes and, stuff I'm working on right now, stuff he's working on right now. Anything new that you have coming up with you in your makerspace, or just new stuff that you're working on, period?
Not too much, just mostly 2 in the same printers, and work started last week, so that's been good.
Well, that's good then.
Bed tuning.
So let's talk about Marlin 119, since a lot of good stuff came out of it. What's been your take on the auto resume feature? Like, have you tried it on any of your other printers rather than just doing it on, say, Marlin, like a non-name Marlin printer? Like, will it still do the auto resume or no?
I don't know. I haven't had an opportunity to test it yet, so
Ah, okay.
We'll see. We'll find out.
Hey, Minnesota Maker, thanks for coming in.
Howdy.
Yeah, he keeps on calling you. Mako. Like that.
Yeah, and hey, John.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat now.
Yeah.
So, hey, guys.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the 119 now. I'm not sure if I'm going to move over to it as of yet.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem with the CR10s. Either we can go with the new jerk and optimize settings, or we can go with just having the auto resume feature.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one's better.
Right. Well, once people get, guides, setup guides for the new 1.1.9 out, they can have both. So,
Well, so you think
Marlin has them both. So
yeah, in this build version that we were looking at, the memory is not enough in the actual CR10 to take one or the other.
Oh wait, it's not. Oh, okay, that's news to me. There are some other settings you can work with to save some memory, so I'll be interested to see if that can be made to work. But that's very interesting.
Yeah, either it's one or the other you can have right now, and that's what that's coming from TH3D, and he works closely with the Marlin creator. And he said the problem is its memory, and the CR10s don't have enough memory. Same with the CR10Ss. But he's like the Enders and the the Enders have can only use the auto settings or something like that, and it's okay. Now John has a question. John, shoot, sure. What's your question, man? We're always open for questions. It's one of those complicated questions.
All right, I started in auto tune, so I've got some time.
Okay. So, John,
now
if you want,
as it just heats. So.
John says it's a little complicated.
You want to bring him on?
Well, I guess we'll have to.
Let's do it.
Hang on, John. Copy. Give me a moment. I'll send it over to you on Facebook.
Guest incoming. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love this printer. I think I need better optical end stops, though. These ones are a little bit iffy. Not bad, but...
I guess we just popped on my video stream. My my messenger. Grant's on right now.
Grant is?
Yeah.
Ah.
Just popped on my Twitter stream. Just popped on the on Messenger. It says Grant just logged in. I'm like, oh, Grant's on. Cool. Okay, John, I sent you the link. Okay, he's coming in. So here's his question. He says, if I wanted to upgrade Marlin on my printer, can I just copy the old H configuration?
Not quite. You see, a lot of the way that settings have been expressed has been changed. Sometimes they change variable names. Case in point, even the EEPROM isn't the same. So I had EEPROM set up on my board, right? So electronically erasable, programmable, read-only memory. So persistent settings that stay even when you turn off the board. So I had them configured, and I had a couple things tweaked. Then I updated the firmware. The EEPROM stayed with some of those new settings populated in it. And when I booted up the printer for the first time, it complained. It said, "Hey, I've got some stuff stored in my EEPROM, and it's not exactly the same," and it just threw a fit. So I had to monkey around with it and fix it a little bit. I'm guessing it would be the same with configuration.h. You probably wouldn't want to mix and match versions because it's going to get messy. So
I'm here. I might have missed everything you just said, though.
Oh, that's okay.
So what? So what is it that you're trying to do? Are you trying to put in the new Marlin, or are you just looking at like you don't want to get rid of your configuration H, or?
So a lot of these G-Tech printers, they ship with Marlin 0.01 or something like that, like a fairly old version.
That is.
And I was watching. Yeah, it's pretty old. It's very basic. There's not a lot to it. And one of the things I was watching the video that Tom put up, I think yesterday, with the guy from Marlin. They were talking about. I have never actually dived into this because I thought it was too hard, but they were talking about how you can, if manufacturers would just release configuration files, you could just copy that over to new versions. And I was wondering if it was really that simple, because then I could just start doing it with all of these printers pretty easily, because I can handle that.
It kind of is. For basic printers that don't have a whole lot of funky stuff going on, yeah, you generally can pretty much. There's just like 2 files you need to mess with: configuration.h and maybe configuration.advanced.h. Other than that, really, as long as the rest of it is present when you compile, it'll be okay. If you're using like a funky screen or an unusual pin mapping, something manufacturer specific, they might need to do other stuff. But other than that, really, it's not too bad.
And for me
now,
too,
mine,
all these printers use exactly the same board. So, and almost all of them use the same display. They almost use all the same stuff. Period. They're just different.
Yeah. It's just the electronics are like all reused, and then it's just kind of the mechanics that is driving that are a little different each time.
So I figured if I could do one, I could do all of them. I could just be done with it. And it would be great. Because no one else is going to do it with these printers. That's the problem with being with someone like G-Tech, where there's not a huge community around it, and no one else is. For my CR10, I bet you someone does it in the next 6 weeks. It'll be done and over with. I can grab it and do it, but I might be the guy who has to do it for my other printers.
Well, yeah, maybe.
All right, well, maybe I'll try it this week.
Yeah, with the CR10, we need. Yeah, with CR10s, we need this little baby.
Well, I actually have
the Adreno,
10S, so I don't need that on a 10S, but you do need it on a regular 10.
Ah, but here's the kicker. On the 10S, though, you still need to put a bootloader on it because the bootloaders can be locked still on the 10S.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I do have an Uno, so I should be able to do it if I need to. But I always heard that the bootloader was unlocked on these things.
No, some people have experienced where it's still locked up and they weren't able to get the bootloader in there.
Well, that's unfortunate. The thing about this could really use baby stepping, because the CR10, that would be a fantastic thing for me to have on there.
Now,
something that size would be a really good candidate for baby stepping.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things that I just enabled in the firmware for this, because with my fancy schmancy Z-Stop, it's going to be nice to be able to step that up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do that. Well, it'd be nice to put that in the CR10 also here.
Yeah.
Just to, tweak it just a little bit, because as Daniel knows, last time he had access to my CR10, nothing was saving to the EEPROM.
Yep. EEPROM was not persistent.
Can you clear the EEPROM completely? Like if you do an upgrade to Marlin and you're afraid of old EEPROM settings, can you just wipe it completely out?
Yep.
Yep. How do you wipe out an EEPROM then?
It's a pretty simple G code. Actually, I just used it about 5 minutes ago. It's looking for it.
Kids, don't try this at home. You'll ruin
M502.
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 Yeah,
okay.
You enter M502, and that scraps all the EEPROM and loads your factory settings, so whatever's in the actual firmware.
That was my next question.
And wipes over all the EEPROM and just clean slate.
All right. Cool. When's Jacob getting here?
I don't know.
Soon.
Awesome. I'm excited to see that. Well, thanks for letting me ask the question. I'll watch the rest of feed.
Well, thanks for coming in, John. We do appreciate it. Anytime you're welcome. Once in a while, me and you are going to have to get you on and talk about all your printers.
All right. Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Yep. See you later, John.
So, yeah, if you guys got any questions or concerns, you can always ask us. We'll be more than happy enough to bring you in if it's a little bit more, if you need a little bit more talk to figure out, exactly what we're covering. We're always open to that. So, yeah, he said he'll be in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, cool.
So we'll have Jacob in here to talk about stuff, and talk about technology and everything else. Did you mean to mute you, or?
Say it again?
Do you want me to mute you, or? Because I heard conversation going on in the background.
Oh, no, my brother's here.
Ah.
Also named John. So.
Tell John we say hello. Notice everybody said hi to me. They didn't say hi to you, dang. I'm kind of shocked.
Well, you're the one running the stream, so.
Yeah, I know. But, because you're in the stream too, you should have got high at least, or at high.
Rover says Chris Riley has some good info on flashing ramp sport.
Yeah, same with
yeah, I bet they
print
do.
play. Yeah,
that's probably a good resource.
So, how did your thing go with So has Chris Riley stolen you away from me yet, or no?
No, not yet.
Okay. Chris Riley's probably going to go, I'm not stealing him.
I'm just borrowing.
Just borrowing him.
That's right.
Yeah. Or I might be giving ideas to Chris Riley saying, yes, you can steal him. No, you cannot, Chris Riley. You cannot have him. As long as you see him, pardon me?
Is he here in the stream now, or
no? But he sometimes watches them afterwards and then emails me.
Okay.
I've seen that. I've been sitting there and it's like get an email. Oh my god! I gotta get him on my show. It's like, ask him.
He's so good. He's so smart.
Yeah. But he geeks out over all this stuff. Today he was doing his. He was there with Country and with Fun King 3D as they were doing some building and such.
Oh yeah, and didn't Fun King 3D start his new printer build?
Yep, the was it the F1? I think it's called. And I know the internet's going to correct me in a second.
What'd you say? Does this work? Yeah. I'll try. That one's the one I'm borrowing from Steven. Who? Steven. Yeah.
3 trimming? LOL. 3 trimming.
This is odd. I'm getting in.
What's wrong?
3 timing.
3 timing.
I've got an interesting issue where, unless my fan is at 100%, it's not actually on.
Interesting.
I can hear the PID loop going, and it rocks a bit, but. Yeah, it's
it's the FK one. That's right. Not the F1, the FK one. Sounds like the fan is running.
Yeah, intermittently.
Could be a bad fan.
Even at 99%, doesn't run. No, I think it has to do with PID loop frequency.
Okay.
Don't know what it is. Because all that's manually settable now, and I'm configuring PID loop control on my bed now for the first time, and they're kind of linked. So
okay,
the
Prusa released a new printer.
Fan. What was that?
Did Prusa release a new printer that we're not aware of? Because John says I love the new
John's
Prusa.
Talking about his own new Prusa. Remember what we were talking about last time?
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
getting
yeah.
that set up? Yep.
Okay. Yeah, clarification, John. Clarification.
Yeah.
No. He says no.
No?
No? Did they release something new that we're not aware of?
Oh, is he talking about the new version with the slightly elongated bed and...
Everybody's going to Prusa research right now.
Yeah, looking Looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Hey, and John Mack's here too.
Oh, interesting. So someone's saying that the Prusa can run the new, can run those wireless cards. You don't need You don't need Octopi anymore. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, John says it was his print he was talking about. Just delay.
Right.
So.
Oh, okay. Ah, okay. No problem. Hey, John Max in the house, everybody. Tanner 3D, thank you for coming in. We are just waiting on our interviewee. So we're answering questions. We're talking about the new firmware and what's our thoughts of it and everything else. Like, I like the idea that with Marlin 119, we're now finally getting the auto resume, but auto resume, or I can get the new jerk settings. I don't know which one I want more.
We'll have to see. I'll do some testing on both. Kind of a motion control nerd, so I will be putting the new S-curve accelerations through their paces.
What board runs Octoprint? Only the Pies right now, from my knowledge. Or are you talking about what we're talking about, John? I know Octoprint can be run on the Raspberry Pi. I know some Adrenos can run it, but it runs really slow and doesn't work right. If you're talking about the SD card that we're talking about, there's a wireless SD card you can buy from China that now works with the Prusa. I'm looking on this website called Prusa Printers. This is their let me pull this up. Let's share. So this page right here at prusaprinters.org talks about how to set up the wireless printing with a Toshiba Flash Air SD card. Now this is mostly used for cameras, for people that are doing doing a lot of picture taking.
Yep,
but now
that's another name of it. So a lot of photographers, like within their own studio, will use this, and as they take pictures, it'll upload them in real time to their, through their router to their server. So by the time they're done with the photo shoot, they may have taken, a terabyte's worth of stuff. Who knows? But it's fine. It could be clicking all day long, and it'll never fill up because it just keeps transferring over to the server.
And now, because they figured out a way to make it work, now they're putting it into everything. So yeah, that's kind of cool. What I also found interesting was this little thing that they were talking about too. If we go up here, this router, this little windmill. I have no idea what they would use it for.
Oh, yeah, it just shows you when your extruder is turning. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of those.
Yeah.
They're cute.
I just think it's a waste of time to put that on there, but oh well. Each to their own. Yeah, so how's everyone's night been so far? No one says anything. Everyone's quiet now. Too quiet. So Daniel, what's your printer running right now? Are you running the 119 right now?
Yep, yeah, I'm running the new 1.1.9 branch.
Okay. And how big is your EEPROM?
Don't remember. On this, so this is an NKS base. V1.5. Normal 2560 mega chips. So could probably.
So that is approximately about 9 or 10.
I don't know. Haven't looked into it really because I haven't had any issues with EEPROM filling up ever.
Yeah. Well, apparently the EEPROM on the CR10 is notoriously small, so.
Could be. Definitely could be.
Yeah.
Oops.
If I had the technology, I would actually change the EEPROM out because, well, that's easy enough to do. Let's.
There we go.
I agree. Seems like all the Wanhows seem to use it too, Marlin.
Yep. They should be able to. Yeah.
So here's the printers that use it: the CR10s, all of them, the AWAS U10, ANET 2, ANET A6, A8, E10, E12, the Enders, the TiVo Tornado, Lulzbot TAS 5. Then you have the Wanhao Duplicator i3, i3 Mini, and the D6.
Oh, the D6 as well, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
There's D6 and rebrands.
Yeah, so the Wanhao D6 or Duplicator 6 is rebranded as the Monoprice Duplicator 6.
Okay.
Or sorry, Maker Ultimate, I think is the name of the printer. Basically, I mean, carbon copy, exactly the same thing, exactly the same hardware, but just a rebadge. So both very nice printers. I mean, I personally wouldn't have a direct drive on them because they're quad wrap, and that's cool and that's fast. But like, they hinder it by putting a big old massive direct drive on there. That printer would be so fast if you had it set up right. I mean, if you had good belt tensioners on there that weren't springs, and you had like a Bowden extruder, that thing would be just flying. Yeah, flying. Well.
Sounds like you have a lot of love for that one.
I do like that printer, and I like going fast. I like printers with, theoretically sound.
I hear you.
So.
Yeah, so it says here I have some work to do, so yay. I'm looking at the TH3D's unified installer because I want the easy out and I want the ability to do the bed leveling because I got their equipment, so I might as well hook it up and get it going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Oh, suddenly I got yawns again. Damn it. I just drank like 2 cups of coffee and everything else, and I got the yawns again. Ah, always pain. Hey, you do it. Right now we're just waiting on our friend Daniel to come in. Sorry, our friend Jacob to come in. Jacob is a designer. He is and works in CAD design. So I'm waiting for him to come on. He's just taking a little bit longer than what we were hoping for. So, and when he gets here, he gets here. That's what we can do. So right now all we're doing is we're just talking a little bit about the version of Marlin 1119, which is great to hear that they've come out with that already. We're just talking about it in general, you know, what we're waiting for and how we hope it's going to be and how it's going to look.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched for the Power Resume. Haven't really looked into setting that up on any of my printers yet, but now that 1.1.9 is out, that's a feature I'm going to be looking into. I'm going to try and have that on all my printers now. So.
Is Power Resume worth the time? And if you had to get rid of the new jerk features,
I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to test that. I mean, from the standpoint of motion control theory, S-curve acceleration is pretty superior to what we're using now, especially on deltas, especially on high-speed machines in general, really. But I don't know. I'll have to see if it's worth the trade-off. Yep. Let's see how that pick themselves.
Let me see if I can find the here it is, 3D printers DIY. This is where I saw it. Youch!
What you got?
Look at this roll of ABS filament. It says printing temperatures between 220 to 260.
All right.
Well, that sounds a little high, is it? Or am I just wrong?
It depends. Who should really talk to you about that is Grant. Grant does a lot of does a lot with ABS. He's really the guy to talk to about high shrinkage filaments like ABS and ASA and even some PC. He really knows what he's doing with those.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't the board I thought it was. Waiting for the Chinese printer group. Oh, great. Idiots.
What's up?
Well, someone just posted all the, one of the groups, someone's saying, oh, yay, gun prints are coming out tomorrow. Everybody go start downloading them. Oh,
more of that.
Yeah, we know about it. It's just like, yeah, and you're doing this because why? Who knows?
I like all my fingers attached to my hands. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Not that I couldn't make it work, but just why?
Yeah, why?
Oh,
Why
John
would you want
Sin
to
bought
try
us
it?
tickets to World Maker Faire. Nice, nice. I should really go to that. Jacob was thinking of going to that. Hey, Trolling for Dollars. Good to see you on the stream again.
Sorry, guys, I'm not watching the chat. I'm just looking at some stuff right now.
And I am doing PID tuning by hand. Whee! Because I'm not happy with the... Well, okay. One thing that PID tuning algorithms often lack is a dead time expression, meaning it takes some time before, when you start heating for that difference to actually make it to where the sensor is. And when you stop heating, for that to make it the sensor, there's a time delay built in. That's what they mean by dead time. Now, RepRap firmware has a modified PID loop that has some of that built in, which is nice, and I think can get you a little tighter temp control, especially when you're doing drastic temperature swings on purpose. So if you're trying to set a PID loop for a system that has a high dead time, such as a bed which has high thermal mass and a fairly noticeable, amount of heat up time, it can take minutes. Often it is a little tricky because if you run a PID tuning algorithm, it'll give you one set of numbers, but really you kind of want to tweak those numbers because the actual output is, it's not factoring in the dead time, so it's going to have overshoots or tend to have overshoots with the settings that it just blindly comes up with. So if you've taken a differential equations class, you can learn about PID loops and learn what the different parameters do, and you can actually tune them by hand to get like really dialed in. Right now my hot end is holding within 0.2 degrees Celsius. 0.2. Really, I'm happy as long as it's within 1, but I mean 0.2, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even within half a degree is fine by me. But now the bed is being finicky because it's got such a large thermal mass,
Well,
such a large dead time.
Here's what I've been able to find. I just found that post I was telling you about. So here's what Timothy Hoagland has said about the new firmware. So for those who don't mind testing, we have the undefined firmware version 1 release 2 beta at a very good point. Power Resume is supported on all printer models. It works on smaller boards that include are the Wanhao i3, the CR10, Ender 2, and Ender 3. Here's where it gets interesting. The new jerk and accelerations are working on all boards as well. However, if you enable Power Resume, these will be disabled on all machines due to RAM limitations.
Oh, on all machines. On all machines. So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Everything. Oh, interesting. RAM limitations, not just EEPROM. It's actually RAM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be nice if we could just put more RAM in the machine. That would be awesome. But...
I know, yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
I know.
That'd be nice. It sure would be nice.
So, what's your thoughts of that whole situation?
I'll have to really test it and see. So the thing about S-curve acceleration that's nice is because there are no instantaneous force changes involved, where you're suddenly applying acceleration and then suddenly you're not. It means a lot less wear and tear on your motion components and a lot less banging as the belts are stretching back and forth, which means theoretically less ringing. So whereas you might have previously had to just back the accelerations way off on a large heavy machine, now you can push those accelerations higher because you're gradually ramping up the forces. It should be with the same print quality, which I'm personally really looking forward to. You know me, I'm a speed demon. I'm always trying to push that last bit of speed out of my machine. But for somebody with, say a large farm of these, like CR10s that they keep printing all the time, and maybe speed isn't really a factor because they've just got so many machines running in parallel.
Yeah.
Power resume might be a more attractive option because it's like, you might be working on a really long print and you want to make sure that, it picks up where it leaves off in case you kill it by accident.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm just curious, where you stand on the whole situation. Would you rather have print resume or would you rather have the speed?
I suspect I'd rather have the speed, but that's just me. I mean, people will have to make that choice for themselves. And it may be that it doesn't really provide that much of a performance increase. We'll have to see.
I gotta start printing with this stuff again, and I have a love-hate for this filament, and it's over in the other room. But I still have that roll. I mean to print with that Esun. But what scares me about Esun's their filament, it wants a temperature of 205 to start off with.
205.
I have to crank it out to 215 to get it to print nicely.
On which machine, sorry?
On the CR10 with Esun's PLA Plus.
Got it. Yeah, so that's the thing. A lot of PLA Plus, typically, it's a high performance PLA, like it might be a resin like 3D 850 by NatureWorks, Ingeo, stuff. So that's a higher crystallinity, higher crystalline ratio PLA, and often higher chain lengths too. So typically it will melt at a higher temperature and have correspondingly higher mechanical properties in general. So yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if the temps are around 215. That's pretty typical for PLA these days. PLA Plus. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I like PLA. I got PLA and I can do it at 200. I printed this at 200 and had some great results with it. So. Oh yeah, this is just a spool holder. This was the filaments.ca first filament spool holder. As you can see, it has the prints on the inside, which is something I kind of complained about. And I said it would be better if it was out or if it was cut out in the symbol, because in that way, you don't have to worry about filament getting caught on this as it's unrolling itself. Mm-hmm. And they went, yeah, we didn't think about that. That's a good question.
Yeah, that was a very good observation.
Why wasn't it printed outside was my question. And I made some beefs about it. I wasn't the only one. A lot of people said it had some beefs with it. This I have no beef with. This I understood why the cutout was. Because I asked him, why the holes? And he said, oh, that's for the tie wraps to go through. So they when you're tightening it up, you can get the tie wraps cut. I went, okay, that makes sense to me.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a good design.
But the inside never made sense to me. Why would you put why would you put your logo on the inside when we already have to apply the sticker like that to the outside? And he kind of paused and went, yeah, okay. I think he took what I said into, I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just trying to say, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I guess he took that to heart and said, yeah, it makes more sense. So now when you print out the new one, it now has the cutouts in here showing the filament logo, filaments.ca. Now there's another company that came out with one now. Spool.3D, just a month after they released, filaments.ca released theirs, a month later, they released theirs with a bigger, wider cardboard insert. So that these won't fit with it. So you have to print another spool holder. Really, what the hell? But they make it for all their brands, and they charge still the same high price that you would pay for regular filament. Where filaments.ca is still selling these for like $15 a roll for a kilo.
Yeah. definitely a better deal.
Better deal long run. But I think what's going on is I think that's their premium filament that they make on the Respool. That Spool 3D sells. So still not the, like, I deal with filaments only because they're close by. But if there was a better filament buy, I don't mind paying the money. But in the U.S., you guys got a lot of really good filament choices out there.
Yeah,
we got
a lot of local brands here.
We got maybe
in
two.
Canada, not so much.
Yeah, there's like Inkspace, which I know them pretty well. They do sell filament, but I've not used theirs, so I gotta reach out to them and see if I can get some. Try it out. And same with Spool.ca is another filament maker out here in Canada. They're out in Alberta. But to get the filament over here, it's like $40 a roll.
Oof.
$39 a roll, and shipping is an extra $10.
That's expensive.
It was stupidly high.
I wouldn't pay that much for filament.
Yeah. I can order it off of Amazon. Amazon's finally now selling Hatchbox in Canada, so that's a good sign. Because I did like Hatchbox stuff. But, yeah, it's ridiculously costly. Here, let me pull up spool.ca. Let's see, Spool 3D. Okay, so let me bring them up here. Come on. Share screen. So there's Spool. There they are right there. So they do sell the E3D hot ends. They sell everything that you could want. So let's look at the refill spools, okay? Respool of 1.75 is $29.
Oof.
Okay? Now, and then you also have to print their spool, but there's no savings anywhere in that. Like $29 for a roll spool.
Just ordinary stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's a PLA. It's Respool. Hell, the Pet G is the same as $35.
Yeah.
Expensive. ABS. They only have 2 colors. Pet G, they only have 1 color. Black.
Yeah. NAK 3D, you're right. Yeah, there was the big Hatchbox shortage of 2017.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then ever since then, Hatchbox has been really hard to get a hold of. They've been trying to ramp up their production, but like everybody wants them. So.
Yep. I remember that, hearing about that too, back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, I'd say it's worth having a couple of really cheap rolls, like even just the $10 stuff off Amazon. It's fine to have a couple of those on hand. I just wouldn't print anything for like customers on that. For internal stuff, yeah, if you're just like dialing in your printer, but for really fine dialing in, use something of known quality and known diameter. Really cheap stuff, especially in colors like black and white, where they mix a lot of stuff in and dump a lot of color to just cover it up. They can have pretty inconsistent melt properties. So,
yeah, well, if we look at filaments.ca, just pulling them up because, well, number one, they help sponsor the show, but I mean,
yep. Yep.
They're sold out of everything right now.
Are they really?
Yeah, if you have a look.
Grant probably bought some of it.
Yeah, well, this is their 1.75 stuff. So as you can see, the Econ filled, all they have left is gray and natural transparent.
Oh, gee,
as you can see, just $15.49 Canadian,
which is really cheap.
Yeah.
By the way, this is another thing. I always recommend having some natural or clear on hand for a couple reasons. One, with no pigment in it, being just like pure plastic, it tends to melt and cool a little cleaner. So if you're trying to do something really difficult, or you're working on some issue, maybe some structural or some melt issue. Not something where you're like looking at the surface, because obviously the clear makes it harder to like look at surface quality. But if you're looking like internal quality, you just run the part in clear. It's really good for that. Another thing you can do is use it as like a cold pull or a flushing filament at a really high temp, because since it has no colorants, it'll tend to flush stuff out really well. So on a budget, that can be a substitute for like proper cleaning filament. I do a lot of cold pulls with just natural filament, and it works great for that. So.
Yeah. As you can see, they're sold out of everything in PetG.
Hello.
Yeah. Minnesota makers. So you've got inland stuff from Micro Center. Yeah, I've printed some from Micro Center too. That stuff has been good, although they're undergoing some supply issues right now, switching from eSun to a new supplier, so I would hang off of that for a little while. Hey, Jacob's in the house.
Yep.
Hi.
Oh,
So Jacob's, we can't really see his face right now. let's see if we can bring him in. There we go. Hi, Jacob.
How you guys doing?
We are doing well. So, what we brought you on, so everybody can know a little bit about Jacob. Jacob, can you give us a little bit of information about yourself, for so everyone can understand, what you do at art and your why we brought you on, so to say.
Yeah. So my name is Jacob. I'm 25 years old. Well, almost 25. I like to print. I like long walks on the beach.
This is not the dating show.
What are you trying to do here, Jacob?
Oh
boy. So I wear a variety of hats. My day job, I run a fabrication lab at the Indiana School for the Blind, and I make models for teachers and teach kids how to print and run CNC machines. And then in my private life, we've got Art 3, which is me, Daniel, and Grant. And in the art world, I'm the CAD guy and kind of fab person for most things we build. And then another business I have ownership in, me and a friend of mine, Christopher, we create tactile maps for public spaces, so to help other blind people navigate stuff. So we're working on a pilot project right now with Indianapolis International Airport that officially gets rolled out in mid-September.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that once it's fully implemented. Cause I remember you guys were talking about what can we use for a symbol for washrooms, and I was like, I know of that way, and I kind of drew it on his hand. He went, that makes sense, like water trickling. I like it.
That's actually what we ended up doing. When I get back on my computer, I can show you what it looks like. It's kind of a sine wave looking thing.
Not like a water drop, but like a washing kind of like waves sort of look.
Yeah, like that.
Cool.
Yeah, like I drawed it on Christopher's hand. Like I saw a symbol in Japan. It was more like this, like a wave, and he was like, "Oh, wait a second."
He didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, no, I draw it on his hand. Like
someone else brought it up
like
a week or two ago, and I'm just like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen that. I saw it once for a washroom, and I was like, "Huh?" And I felt the side of it, and you could feel like this wavy feel. It's like, oh, well, that makes sense for water. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. We're lining up a few more projects, and then the other project company I got my hands in is Grant's company, Homeworks 3D, which is 3D Hubs. What they are, certified manufacturer print farm thing. So right now we've got 25 machines. We're scaling that up to around 100 by late September, early October.
You're covering your mic.
I don't know. Is that better?
That's still low.
Oh, damn.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Awkwardly hold the headset. Yeah, so we've got a print farm with 25 machines, and we're scaling it up to 100. And then In February, we're scaling it to 200 machines. So
that's great to hear.
That's going to be intense.
Yeah.
It's going to be really intense.
And then just in general, if you need design work done, I am for hire.
Okay, so people, if you need printers designed, you know who to talk to is Jacob. So what got you interested into the 3D printing world and brought you, because with limitations that you have being blind, how does someone, like, how did you find, was there any like limitations or anything like that that you experienced when you started learning about all this? And what kind of got you bit into the idea that 3D printing was somewhere that you wanted to go into?
Well, I was. Oh, this is funny. So Daniel, I was talking to Lindsay today, and she's just like she told me how much I fanboyed, and now I have to fanboy. Like, damn it. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I know what you're about to say too.
Yeah. So in 2013, I went to a conference in Baltimore for tactile graphics for the blind. And this was 2D graphics and 3D graphics and experimental projects and stuff like that. And I went to this dinner with the education director of this organization, and artists, and then another engineer that had a company that did contract design work. And this contract designer just kept babbling on and on and on about printing and all the things we could do with printing in the years to come. And I just, 19-year-old me, sat there and just soaked up everything this guy said. And I kind of decided right then and there that I need to get into this. Because I was an engineering technology student at the time who had no idea what he wanted to do.
Yeah, Daniel, you're dropping volume again. Sorry.
So,
Sorry, Jacob, I meant. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, your volume went foomp.
Let me see if getting off of my headset changes anything.
Okay.
Sure.
Is this any better?
Oh, way better.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I met this guy named Steve, and he just babbled on and on and on about printing and how cool it was and all the crazy stuff we'd be able to do in years to come. And I was an engineering technology student at the time who had no idea what he wanted to do. So that was my kind of defining moment. And then later that year, I bought a PrinterBot Simple kit that had fishing line instead of timing belts. And that's what got me into it. The biggest limitations for me visually were the CAD classes, because like I could do it with magnification and stuff, but keeping up with what was going on in the class was the big struggle for me, because it's like I could it's being described what's going on, but it's like I couldn't see the projector and stuff like that. So there were some voids in my CAD learning, and the big one of those was actually learning how to sketch properly and use constraints and stuff. Because it's like I kept hearing this stuff, but I had no idea really what it was because I couldn't see what was going on. So I learned how to sketch properly this year. Because of Daniel.
Yeah.
You're doing this wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
He was close. There honestly wasn't that much left to do, but
So with with a program like AutoCAD or whichever one you're using, I don't know if it's AutoCAD, if it's SolidWorks you're trained in.
I learned originally in Autodesk Inventor, and then in late 2014 I transitioned over to Fusion 360 when it came out, mainly because it was the only real CAD package that could run on a Mac, and the Mac accessibility was at the time miles ahead of Windows, so it was the only viable option for me to continue to learn on. and then Windows stopped sucking with it like 3 years ago.
Yeah, Windows 10 really took the beef and accessibility. I've noticed a lot of great options inside of it now.
Yeah, it's so much more intuitive than it used to be. So
I think it's because what they did in 8, they knew that they goofed. I mean, 8 was a joke of an OS.
It was a mess. Yeah.
I never used 8. I went from when I started my job at the school, I had them set up all my computers with Windows 7 because that was the only stable operating system for all the software packages I used at the time. And I didn't transition to Windows 10 until like March or April of last year, just because the software, I reached a point where it's like you need to upgrade if you want to continue getting updates.
Yeah, I can understand that. So, here's a good question for you then. How did you get involved with Art3? Like, what brought you into the guild, so to say?
This is a great story. Yeah, Jacob is directly responsible for this.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and Grant have been doing stuff together for a couple of years, and in late October, early November last year, he called me up one day when I was at work. He's just like, yeah, this company came in, and so, well, backstory for this, Grant works out of an industrial print bureau, which his dad owns, and this company came in to the print bureau and was like, hey, we were wondering if you guys could build a custom machine for us to do blah 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 blah, and they're like, we don't do that. And Grant opened his big mouth up and was like, yeah, we can do that. We're already working on that. And he calls me up and he's just like, Jacob, I volunteered you to help me design a big machine. And Grant is a technician. Grant doesn't have design experience or like practical engineering experience. So I'm just like, okay, I think I can kind of do that. And we talked about it here and there, and then nothing more was really said for a few months. And the whole time of like these few months, I'm like, I don't know much about this. I'm going to go to somebody smarter than me. And so I start sending Daniel all these hypothetical messages of like, if you could do this, what would you do?
If you had this massive budget, you had to build a big printer.
There wasn't even massive budget at the time. It was just like, if you could do it, how would you do it?
Yeah. Well, that was the way you phrased it for me. I was like, I don't know. It's also dependent on how much money you have, because like if you had $1 million, you could use like linear servos and a one-piece cast iron frame, and like you could do ridiculous stuff. But like,
yeah, because like originally, what like I'm like me and Grant weren't thinking big industrial stuff. We're just thinking like maybe we have like a $5,000 budget to build it, and I just start throwing shit at Daniel and be like, what do you think about this? And there was no like sale attached to it at all. And he's just like, I do blah 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 blah. And then at 2 months of that banter back and forth, and it comes up again, or Grant's like, yeah, that company called. They actually want to do it. I went and met with them, and they have $100,000 budget. And I'm like, oh crap, I really need help now. And so I send Daniel a message, and I'm just like, so Daniel, remember that big printer thing we were talking about? It's like, what if I told you there was a lot of money tied to it?
Yeah.
And
I was like, oh dang, how much? How much are we talking?
I'm like $100,000. And just like, oh dang. And then I'm like, I need your help.
So that's how it all became the company, eh?
That's
Yep.
right.
Because
when
someone
we got
opened up their
together.
mouth and didn't realize what they got themselves into.
That's right.
Oh boy. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
So how was the state, like, how did you guys come up with the idea for that printer? Like, what was the idea? And how long has it taken for this idea to become what it is now? And how long do you think until it's actually fully operational? Because I know that this is something that no one's ever built before. I get that this is very experimental, but I'm just wondering, like, what's everything involved in it?
Well, we officially started doing stuff like January 10th. So.
Yeah, I know that was unveiled at Murph. You guys unveiled what you guys have done, and then at Earth there was like a whole big, even more.
If I send you some pictures on Messenger, can you like flash them up on the screen? I've got some renders of the original behemoth we were gonna build.
Oh yeah,
you
definitely.
should show
I
those. They're
have
pretty
no
cool.
problem doing that. Let me get Facebook open so I can get them.
Okay. It's gonna take me a bit to find them because they're
Well, your background picture right there. It's you got listed your name as Grant, so just a warning.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm logged in on the Homeworks 3D 3D Printer OS email account.
Oh, okay. So is this your print farm that you work at the school that we're seeing in the background?
That was the print farm. Those printers are no more.
Yeah,
I ran them into the ground.
Yeah.
He did. He had so many print hours on those things. It's
Oh,
amazing
man.
they were still in one piece.
That farm had about 15,000 hours on it before it kicked the bucket.
Yeah, that's something I want to get into. Is also talking about print farming too. Yeah. Yep. Chris Riley says he's happy. He's like, Grant has a lot of robos.
Yeah.
So
actually,
Grant,
it does.
yeah, and robos are a good printer. I would like to get my hands on one, but I just can't afford one.
Yeah,
Well, lately they've been able to play with one of the really new ones, the C2. You know, the latest ones, not like the R1 Plus, but the new gen. They're quad
Yeah.
wraps, and they're nice. They're nice.
Are we hearing your printer going off there?
Yep, I'm running a dimensional test right now, so this is something I cooked up to test, like everything: internal, external, round, diagonal, square, height.
So we see you running out of the building. We know the house is caught on fire, right?
that's right. Oh, I could send him. Oh, do you want video of the Frankenfrog?
The Frankenfrog.
Cool.
Okay, I guess
that's a cool printer.
he wants me to see that too. Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the Frankenfrog is a engineering marvel with Daniel and I.
It's kind of amazing that it worked.
Yeah.
Telling the story of how you got that printer, that's pretty cool.
Well, I think with pictures would help first before he starts telling the story. Red Light wants to be as famous as Chris Riley. I don't think Chris Riley wants to be famous as Chris Riley is.
Okay, Ron.
Yeah, I just got them.
Coming your way.
Yeah, let me just pull them up here. Give me a moment. I got like 20 windows open here. Okay. These, all right. So here we go. I'm going to pull them up, and you talk about what we're seeing here. Okay, there we go. So if you want to talk about that, Jacob and Grant.
Yeah. So these 3 images were the original 3/4 ton machine me and Daniel thought we could build.
Okay.
It was a meter by half meter by half meter build volume. The plate was going to be a 900-pound slab of calibrated granite. It was going to be built out of 8160 aluminum extrusion, SMC linear actuators that move 3 meters a second.
Yeah, that thing was crazy.
Ow.
Let's see.
Okay, so there's another picture of it, and
Yeah.
there
Oh,
is.
there's a render with Ken. Ken is from Thingiverse. Ken, if you're out there watching, thank you for posting your scan. So Ken is there for reference of size.
Yeah, he's a scale marker.
Yeah, this thing is gonna. That looks huge. There's another picture here that just uploaded this blue picture with the. So what's this we're seeing right now?
This is the Core XY test rig that accidentally became the basis for the big one.
Holy crap! That thing's fast.
Yeah, it kicks up to 1 meter per second.
Yep. That was my doing.
And why is this not in your maker shop right now, Dale?
Well, it's been taken apart. We needed all the parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was a Leapfrog Creator XL that I got off of Craigslist for $350.
Which is a steal, an absolute steal.
This guy got it through Amazon Returns, and it was just beat all to hell. And this became a 3-week exploratory project in February for Daniel and I to turn it into a Core XY monster running on a Duet Wi-Fi.
Wow.
And when this led up to the beginning of the current machine. So we finished this up about a week or a couple days before Daniel came down in March. And the night we were sitting down to do the ordering, Daniel and I were crunching the bill of materials of what we needed for this 3/4 ton monster. And we realized that we didn't have enough money to build it. We were like $10,000
Oh, that's
short.
the video I sent you. Yeah.
And so we
Just
scaled down our monster to an affordable budget, and then we gutted the Frankenfrog and put parts on the big one. Like the big steal out of the Frankenfrog was the motors and the ball screws. There was like $1,000 worth of ball screws.
Yeah,
on
for
that
real,
thing.
for real.
Yeah. So I just enlarged the picture so people can get an idea of how big this machine was to that statue.
So those 3 cylinders in the bottom left, those are 10 kilo spools, I think.
Yeah.
10 kilo.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's like a blah. You know, like wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That is a crazy design, though.
Yeah, it was going to have an integrated PC and 21-inch touchscreen and all kinds of cool stuff.
So let me guess, money was not an option here.
Well, I mean, think about it. We were designing this thing in mind that, you know, we were going to have $100,000 to blow on it, but we had to build a prototype machine to get the purchase order to prove to this company that we could do it. So that's what the current machine is now.
Yeah, that's insane.
Scaled back. The remnants of the Frankenfrog. Let's see. Can I turn around my camera here? Are right here in my room. These 3 pieces of extrusion are what's left.
How in the heck do you move in that room?
We don't.
Yeah, I gotta see everything everywhere.
It's an easy answer.
I don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel.
Yeah. 1 second.
What is that black stuff?
I'm coming. Okay.
India ink with water.
Oh yeah. How's that experiment going?
It's going good.
So tell people what you got in that bag.
So we have a piece of the neck of the FFF fiddle from Thingiverse, and it is soaking in, I guess, what you would call an ebonizing solution. So it's Hatchbox wood-filled PLA. So we're seeing if we can ebonize it like come in here to the other room. I'm refinishing a baby grand piano.
Oh wow!
He's got his hands on a lot of projects right now.
This is the same way I did it to ebonize the wood on here.
So
It was
you're
originally white, like that.
so you're actually rebuilding. Okay, now I'm blown away. I've seen almost everything. I think.
Shit you can do in an apartment.
Yeah, I'm shocked that you got a baby piano that big.
Never underestimate what you can do in an apartment.
So someone's asking on this channel here. This is from Chris Riley, who has his own channel. He is asking Daniel. It says,
Yeah.
So if I had 5K, how crazy would you get? Like how fast?
How fast could you get for 5K? Well, so Jacob, I don't know. We'd have to talk about this. For an industrial application where you want it to be kind of hands off, 500 millimeters per second, right?
Yeah.
For a tinkerer where you don't mind like tweaking stuff, you think we could put servos in that for 5K?
If it was a smaller build, yeah.
If it were a smaller build, like if it were like,
if we were only doing 2 servos for XY motion,
yeah, that's it.
yeah, because I mean that by itself is.
So would you do an implementation of our own Core XY? Would you want to do like Quad Wrap, something like that? I would probably do our own Core XY. It's pretty.
Yeah, I would do our
cost-effective.
Core XY just for the you know, to meet that $5,000 mark, you're gonna have to really not necessarily dumb down the motion, but our Core XY system simplifies a lot of things.
Yeah, probably like a 300 millimeter build cubed, something like that.
Yeah.
You could do that at a meter per second travels.
So I mean, like the for the Frankenfrog, the motion components and the duet, you know, that was like $400, and then the servos would be another $600. You would want the $200 power supply, so you're at $1,200. You're probably going to spend another $500 on the frame.
Yeah, motion components will be 2K easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so according to Chris
3K,
Riley
another K
here,
for that. Yeah, you
just
could
let
do
you
that
guys
for
know.
5K.
he says he wants to jump over an Ultimaker.
We've talked about making an Ultimaker killer.
Yeah, we're
It's,
thinking about it.
If-
Problem is
if-
building
if
in
you-
like
If you've got the money,
profits.
we'll build the Ultimaker killer for you.
Yeah. If
He
you
says
have
he has a
if you have
duet.
a project for us.
He
got a
says,
duet.
I
Yeah,
have a duet,
it'll
I'm
use
ahead
a
of the
duet.
game.
It'll use a duet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's no way a normal one, like a 8-bit processor, can keep up with the step rate limits. I was running into the step rate limit of a duet, which is supposed to be like unattainable.
So
You know.
is a duet more powerful? I thought the Ramps was a little bit more powerful than
No.
duet. No? Okay.
Duet is
I
way
mean-
more powerful.
Okay.
Yep.
That I wasn't sure if which one was more powerful, was duet or the Ramps. Now for someone that's LOL, whoa. Yeah, they're saying no.
Yep.
Now question here though, being in all truthfulness for Jacob, how is it to run a farm, especially with limitations that you have with
Farming is
eyesight?
fun.
Okay.
So the big things that you need to be successful with running a print farm is, number one, all your equipment needs to be networked. Whether you're using Octopi or 3D Printer OS or something of that nature, or AstroPrint. I really like 3D Printer OS. It's a much more refined system that's built for industry and institutions, so you can really manage what goes on and monitor things and whatnot. And so there's that. and then having auto leveling for all your machines. If you can have that, you can really do some stuff. So my robo farm at the school had 10 machines. All were networked through 3D Printer OS. All had removable build plates. And I only used one material for everything, so I never had to swap out colors or anything like that. So if material was loaded on the machines, bed adhesive was applied to the spring steel, I could go from nothing to having the whole farm running without leaving my computer in 4 to 5 minutes if I already had all my G codes sliced up. So it's incredibly painless if you spend the time and money to set that stuff up right.
That was really eye-opening to me. Like, I mean, I spend 4 or 5 minutes per machine. I mean, we're talking like he was spending 1/10 of the time of what I take. You know, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because it's just once you have your G code sliced and all, it's just upload, send, upload, send, upload, send. You know, it's 3 clicks.
Oh, wow.
3 clicks and it's sent to the machine and printing. It's great. It's like on top of the on top of the cost of the printers, it added about, let's say, $1,500 to set it up properly. And that was the BuildTak flex plate system for everything, for every machine, and a Raspberry Pi for every machine. Now, you don't necessarily need a Raspberry Pi for every machine, depending on the stuff you're using. If you're using 3D Printer OS, you can have one printer per USB port on it and be fine. But what we did was set up a couple different cameras for each machine, so I could log in at home and see if things were going right. And if things were failing, I could just kill the print and not waste any more plastic.
Yeah. John's asking a question here about that program. He's like, ooh, I want to run 3D Printer OS on. And he says, I have wanted to use that forever. So what would you need it to run on, like to run the program itself?
Well, if you don't have a Raspberry Pi, they have a desktop client for Windows, Linux, and Mac. So you can just have it, you know, your printer plugged into a PC all the time, and it runs through a separate client that's not like running through, you know, like Simplify 3D or something like that. The stuff is free to use. They do have a paid account version that's $200 a year, but you only need the paid account if you're like, it makes more sense for like an office or like a library or something where you need to give analytics of usage and stuff, and they have a really nice suite for doing that. So, but for an individual just running machines, it's free.
Yeah. Okay, well, it looks like Chris Riley wants to take over the world because he wants to kill Ultimaker in the worst way possible. He says, I love to do a project with you guys for the community. Ultimaker killer all the way.
All right, Jacob.
Oh no, here goes.
I can't totally kill them because I'm part of their like pioneer education program, so I can't totally smash them.
Well, you just your picture says Grant, so you just pretend that you're Grant instead, you know.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, Jacob, is this the time to bring out the quad? You know what I'm talking about. This is a wonky printer design that Jacob and I have been working on. We talked to Bill Steele about this. Theoretically, it should work. That could be the backbone for a very effective Ultimaker killer. I mean, it can do stuff that Ultimaker can't do, like ditto printing, but not like you've ever seen it before. This is different. This is very different.
This is the Ultimaker 5S killer.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Riley restated his comment. He says, "I love them. I just want to scare them." LOL.
Oh, we'll scare them.
No, see, these guys will not just scare. They will make every other company that deals in 3D printing scared. Once this BAP is up and running.
That's right. That's right.
We're going to scare Stratasys.
So someone's saying out here, how about a black belt printer killer? I'd love to see someone finish what the print belt started.
So we're waiting for Bill Steele to get back from China. He's working on setting up a new assembly line for FlashForge right now.
Okay.
When the whole PrinterBot thing closed up shop a few weeks ago, the three of us talked about keeping the PrinterBot going and developing that further. So we don't want to see that die.
Understandable. I remember how you were showing me off your little printer that you got from them, or was it from them that they gave you that little? Okay.
The PrinterBot Simple.
Yeah, which you were just like so happy about.
I know.
Yeah, you just didn't want to let go of that thing. You're like, look how small everything is.
Oh no, that's the MakerBot. That's something else.
Oh, that's the MakerBot. Okay, okay, sorry.
But yeah. Jacob, tell them about the PrinterBot that Brooke Drum built for you.
Yeah. So I finally met Brooke at Murph, and I've been wanting to meet Brooke for like 5 years, just to kind of go full circle with the man who designed my first machine. And I had to sell it because I was poor in 2014, and so I've never seen it again. And they stopped selling that kit. So when we were at Murph, I met him, told him my story, and I'm just like, if you have any of these lying around, I would cherish it forever. And so he gave me his email, said contact him after Murph, and I think he forgot about it or didn't think I was serious, because on the PrinterBot live stream, like the following week after I emailed him, he's like, it sounded like it caught him off guard that I actually reached back out. And so he ended up taking the remains of like 10 old PrinterBots, and out of that just pile of junk, on a Facebook Live one night, he built me a working PrinterBot Simple from 2013, and mailed it to me.
Oh, nice.
And so when we were at Earth, I took it with me because I knew he was going to be there, and I got a picture with him.
Cool. I got something here. This is more for Daniel than it is for you, Jacob, so I do apologize.
No worries. Daniel. I got to catch up on text messages.
Okay, I'll let you catch up there. I got this little video that someone sent me, which I think you'll get a good kick out of.
Sure. Let's see what you got.
Yep.
Oh. Wait, I have a successful first layer. It's about to start the next one soon. I want to show you guys a video of this thing, especially Chris Riley if he's still here, because this is fun. I'm running half a G accelerations and up to 250 millimeters per second. So this thing is crossing the bed, just like shoot, 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 shoot. Anyway,
Well, this you should recognize yourself playing.
Oh, yep.
So
That was fun.
yeah, that was different. So if you guys want to know where Techie Fiddler comes from, that's where it comes from.
Yep.
And
that's my name.
I believe also John sent me a picture. Where is it in this file that John sent me? Because John was kind enough to send me a picture, which I went, oh my god, okay.
Which picture?
I'm just looking for it right now.
Is this from Earth or Murph?
This is from Murph. So these are all the pictures from Murph. There's a picture of you and Jacob in here that I saw.
Ah. Is it that picture that I'm thinking of?
Yes, it is.
There's some good pictures in there. Fun times.
Yeah. Brings back a lot of memories.
Oh,
yeah. Can't wait for Murph next year.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
hopefully we can get...
Yeah. Who else going to be there? Drop a note in the comments. I want to know who I'm going to meet there.
Well, we know Fun King's going to be there. We know...
Of course.
Yeah.
We're going to have our big printer. We're going to have our Dimension 1200.
Yeah, I'm planning on bringing a couple printers with me also, hopefully. Hopefully I'll have that D-Bot made. I don't see it here. Aw. That's you guys sitting on top of the printer. He has a picture of you guys. Which I went, oh yes, you'll love to see that again. Unless it's not here, unless it's on a different feed I saw it on.
I'm going to send it one to you.
Yeah. Well, I had an interview with you two on top of that printer. I mean, with just Jacob on top of the printer. That was fun.
I have a variant of the picture in question.
Oh.
Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, I'm just going through the pictures right now. I know I've seen it. I'm not sure if it was on John's list or not. Yeah, I can't see chat because I'm busy scrolling through this picture here. So I do apologize if anyone's sending me messages. If I don't reply right away, it means I'm busy doing searching here. But yeah, this is courtesy of John Mack, who made this available so I can actually go through with this. So thank you so much, John Mack. I do appreciate it. As I was there just doing video mostly, I didn't have enough time to do a lot of pictures, so... I think you just sent me something, didn't you, Jacob?
I did.
Okay, let's go over into my feed and have a look. Wait, stop.
So far, I'm not liking the S-curve control unless I can boost it up a lot. This machine is capable of a lot higher forces, so...
Alright, let's have a look here.
Get some blobbing, too.
That's the picture I was looking for. Yes, thank you so much, Jacob.
You're welcome.
So we'll share this. So there you go. These two are sitting on top of the printer. On top of the printer, people. That's how strong this printer is. I mean, look. Control plus. Yeah, maybe I got too big, but you get an idea. There they are, sitting on top of the printer.
That was a lot of fun.
Is that Grant right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Grant. Okay. Yeah, but those two are sitting on top of the damn... Like, how... That's how heavy this machine... That's how strong this machine is. That's by 80 by 80, is that correct?
That's right. So
80 by 80 extrusions.
You know, this big around for the beam.
Yeah.
I know some printers with an 80 by 80 bed size. That's not the bed, that's the beam cross-section.
Yeah.
How high can the... And what's the Z height on this? So we can get some dimensions here.
600-ish.
600-ish?
Ish.
Yep.
Ish.
So about 2 feet. Ish.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to let loose on this printer just to scare people?
Well, we did shots on top of it with Sanjay from E3D.
That was fun.
You guys were doing shots?
Yep.
Oh,
we did one at
jeez.
least.
Oh, boy.
That was really fun.
Was that the night that me and the bear left early and you guys were sticking around for those hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Possibly.
Yeah, they came back up. E3D came back up to us at Earth at the end, and they're just like, whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, oh man. Oh, someone's asking, what is the total screw amount for holding that thing together?
Oh,
was it 480 on just the frame?
Yeah, 480 for the frame of 480 nuts, T-nuts, and 480 bolts. There's like 40 pounds of hardware on there.
Yeah. Next year we gotta get Tom Sandlander to come over and at least, say hi to you because I know that you wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of an interview with him.
Me and Grant had a call with corporate 3D hubs on Wednesday morning, and we were talking to him about the big build, and I told him, I gotta share this with you because you guys will appreciate this. When we went to build this thing, Grant gave us the credit card, and he told the engineers they could buy whatever they wanted.
That's a very dangerous proposition. Don't do that.
In 2 days, we put $10,000 on the credit card.
That must have felt really good.
And it was totally pre-planned. I mean, it was premeditated, as you might say. I mean, we were ready. We had everything picked out. We were like, oh, we're gonna hit that credit card so hard.
Yeah.
Oh no!
He didn't care. He's just like, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I'm like, Daniel's like, I think this is gonna cost too much. I'm like, it doesn't matter, Daniel.
Let engineers go crazy.
Yeah. And now I get a chance to work with all this cool tech that there's no way I could have otherwise. We got a question from Dollars. Why not a meter cubed? Well, it just would have ended up costing too much to make to the same overbuilt standards that we were gonna originally do. So we just didn't have that much cash on hand. So
and we didn't know how to move it.
It would be impossible to move in and out of doors. I mean, you can't.
We need to buy.
You can't ship it.
We need to buy a forklift and learn how to design around a forklift.
So this is kind of interesting. We were able to get, even though it weighed like 250 pounds, we were able to ship it from Indiana to Maryland, back to Indiana, back up to my place here, by loading into the car. And it takes 2 or 3 people to get it in and out of this big van. But you can do it. It just takes a lot of muscle power. If it were meter cubed, no way we could do it. Mm-mm. You'd have to take it apart to ship it.
No, I remember how heavy that thing was. That thing is heavy. Even with 4 of us on it that one day trying to push it in your vehicle. Jesus. You guys got to think of a better way to ship that damn machine.
We really need to buy a truck.
Yes.
See, our dream is to build a printer inside of a shipping container. See, that's our 2-year goal. We need to make enough money between now and mid next year. We want to buy a semi truck that has a cab in it with bunk beds, and then we get a shipping container on the back of that, and build a printer, material storage, and all that within it, and just tote that around the show.
Yeah. So Chris Riley has a question for you guys. What are your thoughts of? So you say you had to step away, but you'd like to know, what are your guys' thoughts of the E3D tool changer?
It's cool.
It's very cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's like ours is almost identical, except we're using a magnet instead of a little cam. In principle, the rest of it's the same.
Okay, so you guys have so this BAP is going to have a tool changer for sure then.
Yeah, that's been the goal from day one.
And are you guys using power magnets, or are you guys going to use earth magnets?
It's odd, kind of both.
Okay, well that makes sense.
It's a switchable magnet.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah, so it's mounted to a servo, and when it twists and engages, you go from nothing to like 50 pounds of force instantly.
So that thing's going to have 50 pounds of force?
That's right. Correct, Daniel?
Say that again?
That switchable magnet has like 50 pounds of force.
Roughly.
And how much force
are you going to be...
let
go. Even on power off, it's static. It stays there. You know, it doesn't let go during power loss. It stays in place and it stays locked.
And how much...
So no worry about dropping tool heads.
And how much filament is going to be going through that nozzle then?
Well, it depends on the nozzle. We've got a whole bunch of hot ends lined up for it. One has a 0.2 millimeter nozzle. Another one's got a 1.2 millimeter nozzle. So we'll be pumping potentially like half a kilo an hour in some modes.
Jeez.
And in other modes, we might be doing, you know, honestly, just a couple of grams an hour. It just depends. Although that'd be kind of a waste of the high-speed capabilities of the machine.
Yeah. Oh man, sorry about that. Tiredness is kicking in. Well, let's put it this way. I only got like 2 hours sleep last night, so most of the night I was up. You know, one of those nights where the brain doesn't want to shut off, and I'm just thinking.
Right.
Yeah. So. Okay, let's see. Yeah, on the Core XY T, he's asking you. You had a mosquito on it. How's it working for you, Daniel?
It's working really good. I actually just finished. Freeze. I just finished PID loop 2.5. I'm actually going through that right now because I'm gonna redo the firmware on this.
Okay.
Real quick.
And Daniel, sorry, Jacob, I should say.
My girlfriend sent me a message. She said I look like I'm bored on here.
Oh, it's the angle that we're seeing, too. It doesn't help much, but yeah. Let me ask you a question though, because you are partially blind, because you are legally blind, by definition. How do you see a screen? Do you use like JAWS or something like that that reads you the information?
I've got. So I have enough vision to see everything on. I've got you on my iPhone. I've got enough vision to see everything going on here. I just don't see it well. It's obscured.
Okay. So.
Whereas, like, Chris only, you know, he can make out rough shapes of things.
Yeah. But I meant, when you're doing your, what I meant by that is, I mean, when you're designing and you're trying to figure out, like, design or whatever, and you can't make out, like, do you use, like, a screen reader, or...
No.
Or does not work with these type of programs?
None of that works with these kinds of programs.
Mm.
I have to do everything with magnification.
Okay, so you basically are zooming in on everything to bring it up the best you can.
Girlfriend says thanks for the shout out.
Well, hey, if she's watching, she can chat in the chat. You know, we're open to everyone coming in. You know, don't be afraid, and you know. Just be careful of Chris Riley. I know he wants to steal both of you from me, so, you know, we have contracts with both of you.
When did I sign the dotted line?
Oh, you signed the dotted line a long time ago. I just never told you about it. No, I'm just kidding with everybody here. Chris Riley's welcome to steal you guys away. Not totally though. He can only steal you for a couple episodes.
I'm not familiar with Chris. What is Chris's channel?
Chris's channel is Chris's Basement. He does 3D printing, testing, printing, and other types of subjects that cover in the 3D realm. Basically, Chris Riley can tell you exactly what his channel is all about. Just watch his channel. He has some interesting stuff that he talks about.
Is he on here? Could we bring him on?
He is on. I don't know if he has his microphone and everything hooked up and he's ready to broadcast, but Chris, are you?
That'd be fun if you could hop on here too.
Yeah, if he's all okay and go, I can probably just send him the link privately somehow. I'll figure that out. Yeah, just be careful, Rover. He bites sometimes, but usually he's a good guy, you know? So, yeah. So, question for both of you. Dealing with this BAP and coming up with the idea of it, are there any other projects that Art3 has in plan for other printers that you guys can talk about, or is this more of
So, well, the two main projects right now are the BAP printer, and then we've been working on an open source conversion of a Stratasys Dimension 1200 FDM printer. So we're taking the suck out of it.
So, I love how you say that. It's
taking the suck out of it.
Well, yep. it's like okay, this was my spring break, was dismantling this machine, and it just felt so empowering, especially when I finally made it through the electronics cabinet and I got to the filament docking bays, and I took out the EEPROM readers. I'm just like, yes,
Stratasys, you don't own me.
That's right. We will never pay $300 for a kilo of plastic. Never.
Yeah. Why is that expensive for the plastic?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's chipped cartridges.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. They run, depending on the plastic, they run $300 to $400 a piece. So.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's why. So our ultimate goal with this is to create a conversion kit for like universities and stuff. So, because these machines are great machines, the hardware in them and all is fantastic, but they're so expensive to operate that they just end up collecting dust in these university labs. So, if we can come up with...
Nobody wants to use them because they just cost so much to run.
Yeah. It's like by converting them to open source, it brings the operating costs from $300 a spool down to, like $20 to $30.
Yeah. Well, NAC 3D Designs just said, I feel the same way every time I flash my repeater on my DaVinci.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So, if it's... that's insane. I'm just kind of still shocked at that price range. Like, that's just... No.
Keep in mind, their filament is like 1.75 plus or minus 0.002 or something.
Oh, wow.
It's like a magnitude better, but really, still,
Yeah.
Ouch. So they're using like laser lining filament and
they probably have laser mics on all their filament lines, and they've got pretty sophisticated feedback loops, I would imagine, to make sure that everything stays within tolerance. But still,
probably.
Yikes!
Yeah, but
so
still.
expensive.
If it was $100, I can understand that. $300 is like
$300 is just nuts.
Yeah. So we got this machine for free from a colleague of ours. There's a guy in southern Indiana that is kind of a liaison between educational institutions and industry, and does some research and stuff on top of that. And what he's been doing is going around to schools and finding these, older, and old meaning like 10-year-old machines that aren't doing anything, and he's arranging deals to give these machines to small companies like us, to where we can do something with them, and with the hopes of putting it into production so it's being used again, and generating money in the local economy. So this machine had been setting for about 8 years, because the first robotics team that had it used and abused it, and the print head on it literally exploded. Like when
it actually exploded. Like we were picking shards out of the
build chamber.
It was bad.
Oh wow. Sorry, I'm just checking some stats here that I was just told to check. So these donations I got.
There we go.
So, yeah, this I did not see. There was a donation made on the 29th from Chris for $25. Very cool. Thank you. Someone else donated money on today's stream. Thank you so much. $5 from DJ Anime. So I do apologize for not seeing this. I have this actually on... I can't see my donation list right now, donations that we're seeing right now. But what's going on is... in the background, I have OBS. Like, I can see all the information that you guys are sending on Streamlabs, so thank you very much for what you guys do. But the reason we're not seeing it right now is because I can't run this program, I'm talking with you guys, and run the program that I usually run, which is Streamlabs. So I do apologize if anyone's expecting Streamlabs information to pop up on here. I can't turn that on. If I could, I would, because I do appreciate everyone that does subscribe. And to all my subscribers, I want to thank you so much for subscribing. And for the donations, guys, thank you so much. It does help the channel. But I just thought I would clear that up before anybody starts saying, hey, you're not showing your donation, blah, 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 blah. You know, I appreciate every time you guys try to donate. Thank you so much. I do. But let's talk about one other thing. Trying to think of the...
All right, thanks for coming in, AK3D.
Yeah. Oh, NAK3D. Thanks for coming in, guys. I do appreciate it. Daniel, speaking of with your printer, what you're doing with the T-Bot, what is the, like, did you and Jacob come up with the design, or was this more of like a design that you just thought of? Or
that's Daniel's baby.
That's Daniel's baby? Okay.
Yeah, this is something I've been working on for a year and a half-ish. Yeah.
So, in your makerspace right now, Jacob, what's running in there right now? Like, I mean, now that the robos are all dead and they've been, like, turned to dust, basically. What are you now running in there?
I got 5 Flash Forge Creator Pros delivered over the summer, and I just unboxed them on Friday.
Wow. I guess you're looking forward to using those babies.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to buy Robo R2s or no?
Not in the foreseeable future. Just kind of because of the cost. I mean, I can get them a lot cheaper than anybody else. Let me go grab something. I have something really cool from Robo.
Okay. We have no idea what audio we're hearing, so we're not even going to try to get into that.
It's my roommate watching Netflix in the other room.
Ah.
All right. Well, I got this printer going, and looks like now I actually have a first layer I'm very happy with.
Well, let's see. If you don't mind, you can show the video of it there, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. I will grab my webcam here. Show you guys what I'm seeing.
Hello.
Ooh.
How out of focus is that?
Pretty red. Yeah, it's a little out of focus, but it's okay. So what are we seeing here?
This is a calibration test that I came up with that tests all sorts of aspects of a printer's dimensional accuracy.
Okay. Because what it looks like to me, it reminds me of an old floppy disk.
Yeah, it's got some of that look to it. Let me show you what.
The circle in the center.
Here.
Okay, Wiley, have a good night. Hopefully, if we're still up, you can always come back.
Here's our model.
Weird.
Yep.
So what is this a test for? Like stringing or?
Everything, really. Dimensional accuracy in X, in Y, in diagonals, pinch, height down, height up, roundness, crisp corners, thin, thick, really thick, to eliminate different types of systematic error due to different, mechanical causes.
Interesting.
So if you run one of these and everything turns out, then it's pretty good.
I'll try that as a torture test.
Print. It's very challenging for dimensions.
Okay, hang on,
no,
Daniel.
Like crazy overhangs or curves or anything, but just like for dimensions.
Yeah, hang on, Daniel. I'm just going to go back to Jacob here. He got some Robo stuff. So what is this from Robo?
So this wasn't made super public, but back in January, Robo sent out 20 of these to 20 of what they deemed their top power user customers out of 25,000 customers. And I got one of them. So it's a little cast, medallion thing. And then a letter from one of their co-founders, Braden, who I'm good friends with. And they made a program. They've had some issues in the past with quality control and things not rolling out properly, and just general community engagement. And so they decided that this was a step in the right direction of really of going in and working closely with their hardcore core users. And so the thing that got me into it was, it's an innovative use case for what we do with it, and there's nobody else on the planet that has racked up as many print hours on a Robo R1 Plus than I have. So when they introduce me to people at conferences, they're like, nobody has ranked up more hours than Jacob.
Jacob, if you want to break your printers, you can talk to Jacob, right?
That's right.
Yep. He knows all about how to do that.
Yeah.
I ran them really hard. It's a horrible conversation to have with school administrators when you have to be like, yeah, this $5,000 you spent 2 years ago, it's done. It's like, a lot of people don't look at a printer, as a consumable, but when you're racking up, that many hours on stuff, your printers become like GoPros. You reach a point where you just got to let them go. You run things so hard that they eventually go out of tolerance. And all of that, and that's what happened with these. Is through all the movement, heating cycles and stuff, things just got so out of whack that they wouldn't run anymore. So,
yeah, I'm just trying to find the clip when we were interviewing you about the. I have that clip still of us interviewing you at the end of.
I love this thing.
Oh, where is it? There it is. So what I wanted to do is get a little bit more footage here, which I do have video of it. I'm just looking for right now. Or we can zoom up on the book. There we go. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to show here is a little bit of unedited, unedited video I've shot with you beforehand.
Oh dear.
This is from this is when we were doing that interview, which I was unable to get the audio to actually come through.
Oh boy.
So bear with me here. But right now, this is where you're talking about that book, and I just want to give people an idea of this book that you designed for the airport.
Oh, that.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go into this. I'm going to go full screen here so that people can see it better.
Brace for impact, folks.
So right here is the book and everything else, and the idea of design about it, because you're showing the first design there, and then you came up with this design right here. So this is just a temporary design, right? You guys haven't made this the official design as of yet.
It's the rough design. We've got a little more polishing to do on it. It's not super critical yet. We're doing a focus group session at the end of August, and final decisions on form factor will be made after that.
Okay. And this is your other friend that's helping you with this, correct?
Yes, this is Christopher. Christopher is the business end of the operation. He's the one that's kind of made this viable from a business perspective. How it all kind of came to be was in April or May of 2016, I had brought some stuff I was tinkering around with at work. We were meeting up for coffee after work, and we just showed him to this. He's just like, "This is awesome." He's like, "We could build a business out of this." I'm just like, "Okay, sure." And so we did one little project with somebody, and then we did a solid year and a half of R&D, and then in February we officially started this project. We'd been working with the airport 6 months prior, because they were coaching us through applying for government contracts and how to navigate all of that and whatnot. So our first project, 2 guys got a $22,000 contract.
Yeah, and
mind blowing.
Yeah, let's go with this. So this on the back is the directory that you guys were trying to design, correct?
Right.
Has that changed any which ways, or not really?
Actually, there's on the layout of the whole book, a lot of things have changed. The map legend has been moved to the front page now. There is the two pages on top that have the concourses on them now flip out to where they're side by side. On the backs of pages and empty spots in pages, there are I guess you'd say zoomed in shots of really complicated areas to navigate, where there's more going on than you can show at the normal scale we've been doing it.
Yeah. And this was all done on 3D printing, correct?
This is majority of it's 3D printed, and then the clear stuff is laser cut acrylic.
Yeah.
It's all done with Polysmooth from Polymaker.
Yeah, right now you're everyone's seeing a very zoomed in video of the directory and everything else. Which I have to admit, like the idea of this is brilliant because I think about people who have, visual impairment issues that, could use that would find this useful.
Right. Well, and it's got, when you think broader picture outside of vision, it's got a lot more practical uses, especially for people that have sensory issues or autism, or just kind of elderly people in general that need a much more scaled down, simplified thing. It's got a lot of practical applications for it outside of vision, and it's something that I've made a concerted effort to compete for, just kind of thinking of through universal design. And there have been things where it's well, we can't do this. If we change this tactily, it makes things look different visually, and we can't do that. So it's there have been all kinds of little trade-offs in design that we've had to navigate. So it's fun stuff to tinker through and solve, and it's really cool when you put it in somebody's hands that really appreciates it. So when we went to Earth, the day after, me, Daniel, and Chris spent the entire day in Baltimore, and we went to an organization called the National Federation of the Blind. They're like a consumer lobbying group specifically for disability stuff relating to blind people, and we met with them. We showed them the maps and just kind of said, hey, we're doing this. What do you think of it? What direction do you think we should go? And then after that, we met up with a friend of mine that I'm doing design work for. That's also a blind person, and it was funny and just total accidental that we didn't tell her what we were bringing to show her, and just pulled it out of the bag and put it in her hands, and she's just like, oh my god, this is awesome. I love airports. It was cool.
I can understand.
And it was cool because she works in the same realm that I do of working on tactile design at the design level, and it was really fun for me to actually talk on a high level with someone who understands the design issues and work through that. So, and other cool things about that, Daniel learned that visual communication is stupid.
Yep, it's true. I did. It's inefficient.
This is a whole fun thing to hear.
We had a lot of fun talking about that. It was neat. And it messed me up too. I came back home and I wasn't making eye contact with everybody. In my family, I would just be talking while doing other stuff. And you're like, make eye contact, and I'm like, why? It's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even even when I'm working away and I'm doing stuff, and my mom's talking to me, she's like, why don't you look at me? Because become busy with something else and concentrate on something else. Trying to get some. It's like, ugh.
Break that down, Daniel, because it was a really interesting thing that I've never noticed of how this conversation played out.
1 second. I am tuning linear advanced factors on the fly. Wow, that's different behavior.
Well, what's going on?
It's strongly influencing the speeds, the cornering. The prints are taking quite a bit longer with linear advance on. I want speed! Speed, damn it! Go fast! Speed,
hey, guys! I don't know if you saw this from Slice Engineering, but they put a post out to Mr. Prusa himself. They want to talk about hot ends with Prusa. I noticed that you guys that the Art3 retweeted that.
Yep, I just did.
Yeah, that's if they did that, that would be game changing because like E3D.
People are always talking about
E3D makes like 10,000 hot ends a month for Prusa.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow, Art3 Twitter, it's Art3 _ LLC, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
All in caps.
Yeah.
Okay, I noticed you guys posted a lot of stuff from Country Club with Slice Engineering, and then you guys also retweeted out Slice's information, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have informally become the Slice Engineering Facebook group defense team.
Defense team.
Sometimes people will be like, I don't know, I don't get it. What's the point of this? And it's like, oh, that's right. Other people don't see the thermodynamics just by looking at it. It's hypodermic needles. It's high thermal conductivity here, low thermal conductivity here. It's good surface area here. It's low surface area here. It's exactly what you want in a hot end.
Here's just a picture, guys. I just want to show this off because this is funny. There's the van, everyone. That carries the printers and the machine and everything. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks tidy. You didn't see it after. Leaving. You gotta understand, they had all this inside their sleeping quarters. Printers scattered everywhere. Yeah, where if you watch the episode Wi-Fi Don't Fail Us Now, as we were doing the after party, you'll see all these printers, all this equipment laying scattered throughout the whole bedding area.
Yeah.
What time did you guys pull in that? Was that like around 4 o'clock in the morning?
We got in around like 1 or 2.
Yeah. It's just insane.
Oh
yeah, but if you guys.
You need to play. I'm gonna send you our Country Roads video.
That's funny.
Play that.
Yeah, I don't want to get a mark on my for copyright infringement though. That might be an issue. Yeah.
True.
Boo.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry.
We were
sorry.
baked. We were ruined by that point. We were lost, and we're just like, look, a barn.
So what am I seeing here?
So that is this is in the industrial bureau that we work out of for this stuff, and so that's a Stratasys Fortis 400 MC. So that's $100,000 super machine for Ultim.
And right beside it is your machine.
Yeah. Ours actually has a bigger build volume.
Oh, man.
Not
just a matter of time when this machine gets done, it'll be printing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to follow you guys, they can follow you on Art3 LLC.
Yeah.
And Jacob, if they want to contact you directly, how's the best way to contact you, would you say?
If you're on Facebook, I live on Facebook.
Okay, you don't have a Twitter or anything like that, correct?
I do have Twitter. It's
okay.
I don't remember what my Twitter name is.
Isn't it like Imagineering something?
Yeah, it's like 3D Imagineering.
Well, once you have that information, you can always send it to me, and I'll be more than happy enough to place it into the description so people can contact you if they want to.
I'll send you a screenshot.
Okay. So, do you guys have any other questions, any other concerns, or any other burning questions that you want to ask Jacob? This would be the best time now. And if not, then we'll maybe call this an early episode. Since it seems like our viewership has dropped from...
talk about blind people communication.
Oh, yeah, I was going to do that.
Okay.
Let me check the chat real quick before I...
Not seeing anything on the chat right now.
Yeah. How many viewers we got?
We got 6.
6. All right. Yeah, I might call it an early night. I've got work in the morning. Still getting used to that. So, yeah.
Yeah. What's this thing
Jacob
called
knows
work?
all about me and mornings.
They don't happen.
They don't happen.
Mornings,
I'm not a morning person.
Mornings for Daniel are like noon.
So I like to say, getting up at the crack of noon.
Yeah. High noon when Daniel is functional.
Yeah. There we go. Man, I am getting some serious under extrusion.
Oh, really? That's not good.
Yeah. I'm dropping the feed rate down so you can keep up a little better. Temp is holding very nicely.
That's good then. So, yeah, Jacob just sent information to me. So you go ahead, do your thing, and I'll...
I was talking with Chris and Jacob and this other friend, and as the three of them were talking, and me, I found myself having less and less and less to contribute. Like, you know, as they started talking about all this crazy stuff, I was just like, okay, I'll just watch. And it was funny because as they started talking more intently on, you know, the subjects at hand, you know, they're through the small talk, they're getting down to business. They stopped using so much like body language, I guess, and especially facial language. Hands were, you know, no hand gestures at all. It was purely for exploring and like feeling like the braille and the textures on the things they're explaining. And they started talking faster, although that could just be because they were excited. And all three of you guys started talking not only faster but denser, if that makes sense. Like you were using bigger words and more complex sentences to convey more complex ideas in the same amount of time, and you were using, you know, it's like your speaking went from like 8th grade essay to like college level essay.
Yeah,
like
so the girl that was in this conversation, the three of us chatted a couple weeks later about this, and Daniel's like, "Yeah, Jacob, it sounded like you actually went to college."
Is that what I said?
That's what you said.
Oh man, I'm such a little snark sometimes. Sorry.
You are. It's like, oh, Daniel, you know that hits me hard.
Oh, no.
You know I hate college.
I know.
Hey, Jacob, I found the that picture you were telling me about, so let me just put it on the screen here. Share. So this is the printer you were talking about, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the printer.
See the signature on the side there?
Yep. Right down here, people.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the picture of him receiving it.
No, he had mailed it to me back in April.
Did he? Okay.
I brought it because I knew he was going to be there, so I could get a picture with him.
Ah,
yeah.
Nice they signed it too. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a relic now, man.
You should be printing with it just to show it off. And let me guess, these are what you were. This is what you came to school to, right?
Yeah.
I bet you were so happy when you saw these come in.
Oh yeah. There was some grief that went into getting those, and most of that was dealing with government procurement.
Oh yeah.
It's a nightmare.
And these are the that's
the first one unboxed.
Oh wow. gorgeous machines.
They are. And they just work.
Yeah, and what's the build plate on those?
145 by 225 by 150.
Nice.
Dual head.
Oh, those are dual head, so they dual
Yeah.
extruder. So they,
Yeah.
let me guess, 2 colors.
You can do 2 colors, soluble support,
Nice.
anything. They'll run anything, including flexibles, up to like 260. See?
Sorry about that, guys. I hit the wrong button there. Yeah. So yeah. Oh Jesus. I like to have just one of them.
I've got 2 at home.
I know you have 2 at home.
Yeah. And they're nice. They're nice. They just work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can believe it.
It was funny when Daniel first came down.
I was
And-
hoping you were going to tell this story.
Yes, because it was just like me and Grant would just load up stuff on him. We'd put the SD card in, select it, and just walk away. And Daniel would look at us and be like, "What the hell, guys? You're not gonna watch it?" And we're just like,
What?
"No."
Aren't you going to watch this thing? Hello?
And he's like, "No, we'll come back when it's done." Because they just work that well. Like even when you move them, typically you don't have to re-level the build plate. Like on mine, I had to re-level the build plate maybe 2 times last year.
Okay, I just put out your Twitters for everyone to have. So,
Cool.
and that will be also in the description box at the bottom. So, Jacob, I want to thank you for coming on, and same with you too, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks.
We're going to call it a night. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Everyone, have yourselves a great, have an excellent night. Hopefully, have a good week, so that next week when we come in here, me and Daniel can tackle some more printed questions, and who knows who next we'll have on this list. So, thank you once again, everybody, and any last words for the audience?
Stay in school. Use Linear Advance. It's awesome. No, I don't know. Sorry, Jacob.
May your layers shift and your and delaminate.
May your layers eternally shift in your hot end experience. What was the curse? Thermal runaway.
Yeah.
Thermal runaway. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You guys are nice
That's
people.
if you're really mad at somebody. It's, may your hot ends ever experience thermal runaway. Oh,
Yeah.
that's taking it a little far, man.
Right.
I was thinking a little too far. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Have yourselves a great day, and remember to always, keep on printing. Anyways, we'll see you next time. Peace.